What's up, guys? Today, we're gonna be talking about the JB4 from Burger Motorsports. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, I'll give you a brief summary, okay? Pretty much what the JB4 is, it's a little device that attaches to your Mk7 or other Euro vehicle. It allows you to kind of increase the boost, check your AFR, air-fuel ratio, or do things like change your maps. So before getting into the Mk7, I actually never really heard of a tune that didn't flash the ECU. The great thing about the JB4, for a lot of you guys who want to keep your warranty, is that it doesn't void the warranty. Now, before we get too far into that, let me tell you guys, okay, warranty is it's a fickle pickle, okay? There's certain things that you can do and certain things you can't. If your dealership finds out about the JB1 or JB4, there is a potential to void the warranty on certain things, okay? If your turbo was to blow and they knew about the JB4, there's a possibility they could void the warranty on the turbo. It's not for sure, it depends on the dealership. Now, of course, if your trunk gets flooded like mine did at one point in time, they're not gonna void the warranty because you had a tune, okay, on that thing. Warranty is lots of different parts to it. It's not one thing that gets completely voided and then you're just on everything, okay? But if you wanna know more about warranties, go ahead and check out Deutsch Auto Parts in the link above, and they can explain a little bit more about it, because I'm not an expert, okay? Which brings me to my disclaimer, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an expert, not a tuner. I know hardly anything about this product except that it works, and it's cool, and it makes the car go vroom vroom, okay? That's it. The cool thing about this, which we'll get into more in a bit, is that it does allow you to control the JB4 and switch maps via a Bluetooth app on your phone, which is freaking amazing. Without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and show you how to install this from beginning to end in the most simplest of manners, because I'm a simple dude. Let's get to it. Okay, so this right here is the JB1 to JB4 upgrade kit. You might be a little bit intimidated, but trust me, this thing is easy to install. Don't fret, okay? So this chip right here is the JB4 revision 3. So this canoodle right here is the Obd2 loom. This right here is the posi tap. This is the AFR wire, also known as air fuel ratio. And this thing right here with the brown and green wires, I forget what it's called, but you need it, okay? And since I know one of you circus clowns is gonna ask this is what the JB1 looks like in comparison to the JB4. As you can see by looking at the JB1, there are slightly less modules than the bottom being the JB4. Now, as to what these modules actually do, that's top secret. I can't tell you because it's some like super clearance NASA type shit, okay? All right, so looking under the hood right here, or bonnet for some of you weirdos, this is the JB4 kit. So as you guys can see, it's in the JB1 box, not the JB4 case. The JB4 now comes, I believe, in a longer, I believe it's plastic, but you can buy aluminum cases for it. And for this one, you do have to do a little bit of splicing into the wiring because it has the JB4 Connect kit right into the data cable port right here. For this, you're gonna need a set of tiny little precision screwdrivers to kind of get into these wiring harnesses right here. So you're gonna wanna take your precision flathead screwdriver and go ahead and remove the first plug. You wanna be careful not to let these screws fall out, because if they do, you'll have a very difficult time finding them again. So I do have the JB4 Connect kit kind of glued on here, so it might be a little more difficult for me to open this case, but it should be pretty easy for you guys. So we're just gonna take the data cable off now. So opening this case right here, you just pull it apart. You will see on the inside right there, the chip. All right, so now that our case is empty, you can go ahead and install the JB4. And you can see which side belongs to where because of how long it is. We'll just go ahead and insert that right on in there and snap right on down. There you go. Okay, so with our flathead precision screwdriver, we can go ahead and unscrew these two screws right here on the harness. Now these ones you do have to be careful with because they will fall out. So try and do it over the bolt tray in case they do fall, it falls right in the tray. There's little, washers on the back of these screws, and they will fall off as you undo them, so you gotta be very careful. It definitely does help to have magnetic tools and magnetic bolt trays to kind of help out with keeping everything together. All right, now that the harness is all unbolted or unscrewed, you can go ahead and just take your little flathead and kind of just shove it in there lightly, and it'll come apart. Now, as you do this, these screws are gonna come out, as you just saw. So try and keep track of them. That's why I do it all above the bolt tray, so that they just fall right into the bolt tray. There you go. Now it's time to look at your green, brown, and blue wire. If you look at the tip, it has a pin. This pin goes in a very specific spot. Green goes to pin 2, brown to pin 15, and blue goes to pin 20. Now once those are connected, if you notice the JB4 Connect kit, the Bluetooth, has a red wire on it. Now that red wire has to run all the way down to the other red wire on this loom. And you use the posi tap to splice that. So the red wire from the Bluetooth Connect goes in here, and on the other side is tapping the wire that goes into the loom. So I used 3M adhesive to put the JB4 Connect kit onto the body. You don't have to do that. You can put it wherever you want or however you want. But this way, it's just easier to connect, and then you could take the provided data cable and connect it here, and then the other loom will go here. So now that this is all wired up, the posi tap is connected to the red wire, the green and brown wire are routed up through the harness. We can go ahead and put the plastic pieces back on. And once that's all together, we can go ahead and attach it to the correct side of the kit. So now we can put the JB4 back in its little spot down there. Take the air fuel ratio blue wire and run it along the back here. It's gonna plug right over here in this area. Right here behind the cold air intake, there is a little loom, and that loom right behind it has some wires. And if you can see those colored wires right there, those are what we're gonna be tapping into. So the greenish gray piece on the posi tap comes off, and that's gonna be routed around this wire back here. Now once that's around the red wire, you could take the other piece of the posi tap that has the sharp end on it, and you're gonna pierce the red wire. Now the posi tap is connected. Now we're gonna take the end of the blue wire and we're gonna connect that right into the top of that posi tap right here. Grab this part of that blue wire and go ahead and remove or just loosen this right here. You don't have to take it off all the way, but loosen it enough where you can shove this wire on inside. That is connected. So now that we've finished what's under the hood, we can go ahead and take our Obd2 loom, and this is gonna connect right down here in the Obd2 port, run it through the firewall, and connect to the other piece on the harness for the JB4 kit. All right, so here are the pedals for reference, so go ahead and look straight up. Right here, you're gonna see a T20, and this has to be released so you can drop this little plastic piece right here. So once that is out, you can just go ahead and pop it down, and the whole thing just kind of comes down. Really simple. Now here you have the Obd2 port, and as you can see, the loom is installed, and it's gonna be routed all the way back. So it's a bit hard to see, but it's right there, and as you can see, there's a little rubber around it. Now what I found the best way to get that rubber piece open, because it is closed, is just to use a flathead to poke it through, and then pull it out. Once it's out, just cut the tip off, and it'll be a nice open hole for you to route the wiring right through. So just for reference, I'm gonna zoom out so you can see exactly where this is. Yeah, right there. So there's the pedal, that's the clutch pedal, and then right there is the little hole above the nut, that nut right there. All right, so now under the hood again. Now, if you look behind the battery, I would actually recommend taking off the battery, but I'm pretty lazy. So right back here, let it adjust. You can see the loom right back there. You're gonna have to grab some kind of like a hanger or pliers, really, really long needle nose pliers to get back there and reach that and pull it on through and wire it here. That is definitely the most difficult part of the install, but really isn't that difficult. So it kind of shows you how easy this install can be. Now you wanna make sure that there's like 2 clips on here. These 2 clips, and then there's one in the middle. You want to ensure the one clip on the one you just ran through the firewall is aligned with that, It snaps right on. So that's all wired up now. You have the data cable, the harness onto the JB4, the Connect Kit revision 3, and that routed through the firewall. So you're just gonna shove that right back down inside. So now that we've finished the install, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to connect to the Bluetooth app for the JB4 Connect Kit. Now, I just want you guys to know that everything I'm saying in this video or about this product, I'm not paid to say this, okay? Burger Motorsports does sponsor the channel. They did provide this free of charge, but they're not paying me for my review. So I can say whatever the hell I want about it, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys because you guys deserve the truth. I'm gonna tell you guys, okay? So I'm not hiding anything from you guys. Every product I have reviewed on this channel, I have not been paid to do so. So everything I review is my 100% honest opinion, okay? Trust me. Okay, so obviously, first things first, you're gonna open up the App Store and type in JB4. So I've already purchased this app, but as you can see, it says update right here. This is where it normally say the price, and I think the price, if I remember correctly, is about $25. So it's not exactly a cheap app, but it is worthwhile. I definitely recommend getting it unless you want to carry a computer in your car every time you want to change a map. Definitely worth it. So we'll go ahead and click here and open up the app. As you can see, it shows some different types of gauges and stuff. You have your RPMs, your air fuel ratio, IAT, your map, gear, etc. You can start logging here and connect here. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and click connect. Please register login before attempting to connect. Okay, so it's asking me to register, so let's go ahead and do that. Logged in as Grizzly TV, awesome. So let's go back to display and now try and connect. Disable Wi-Fi, okay. So let's disable Wi-Fi. Bluetooth is still on. Finding BLE device. Bluetooth, I'm guessing. And it said to go f yourself, cool. So I'm gonna go to settings. Engine type is, for my specific car, the Mk7 Gti, is going to be F-Series all. And then revision, you want to put revision 3. The way I have it set up is on this little Volkswagen magnetic clip that you can buy from Deutsche Auto Parts. Burger Motorsports also sells something that has like a little swivel piece that doesn't go in the vent, but maybe down here or wherever you'd like to. That's just like connected magnetically onto a little metal plate on the back. I've taken some really hard turns in this and it's not going anywhere. Super nice. As you guys can see, that's what the gauges look like. I have it on map 2 and you can data log. So it is super useful, and you use the data logging to kind of send George pretty much a diagnosis of whatever is going on with the car. And then he can also do custom tunes, which is outstanding and something that is a lot harder to get on something like a Cobb tune or on a Cobb access port without paying a crap load of money or going to some specialist somewhere really far away. With George, you just really send him, you get with him on your computer, you send him the data logs, he sits down, he custom tunes it, it's easy, it's awesome. And that is gonna be my next route as soon as I get this figured out. So that's pretty much it for that, guys. We installed the JB4, we did the Bluetooth Connect Kit as well as the AFR wire to make sure everything's working correctly. Fortunately, we're still having some issues, but we will get that solved in the near future. Stay tuned for that. So I appreciate George's help. I appreciate him giving us this product for review, and I hope this helped many of you guys out there. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Stay boosted, bros.